hey, happy Monday. So come on in, pull up a chair because the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. So, happy Monday. Yes, today is Monday, December 17th. Getting into the holiday spirit here, right? You know, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. I have a crazy Kwanzaa, quality Kwanzaa. Hey, Festivus for the rest of us. You know, lots of holiday spirit going on. So hopefully you're in a great mood as you come and join me today for episode 213. Yes, episode 213 of The Daily Dope. Today I've got a trio of family fun Dungeons and Dragons related releases. So I am going to page through a couple of children's books, the 1, 2, 3s of D&D, as well as the ABCs of D&D. So these recently came out, they came out late last month. And then I am going to unbox and we are going to take a look at Dungeon Mayhem, the card game, the Dungeons and Dragons related card game from Wizards of the Coast. The books themselves, those are from Wizards of the Coast and Hunters Entertainment. So anyway, welcome aboard. If this is your first time visiting with me, it's a very, very casual show. I just pretty much just chat about tabletop gaming. It's not brain surgery. No one's going to die if I get something wrong. But this is a live stream. So if you are watching live, and I know a vast majority of people do watch the show long after the fact of it streaming live. But if you are catching the show live, keep in mind there is chat available through YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I kind of keep some of the stranger commenters at bay, but I do keep an eye on the chat. So if you have a question, you want to say hello, or maybe there's something about the D&D related products I'm taking a look at today that you want a closer look at, feel free, chime in, and I will respond. I do want to point out that this week's gonna be kind of up in the air right now. I'm kind of waiting to find out if I'm going to do an interview with Stephen Bonacore tomorrow for tomorrow's show or not. I guess Stephen was a little under the weather, so I will find out tomorrow morning. But anyway, I do have some news today, kind of skewing towards role-playing games today, which I was kind of surprised. Well, yeah, a little surprised. I don't want to say that it came as like a complete shock, but do want to point out that if you do not like the tabletop gaming news, right? I know there are some folks out there who do not dig it. By all means, please take a look at the show notes below because you will find the timestamps. You can skip right through, right past the tabletop gaming news of the day. I only have 4 news pieces today, so it's not like tons and tons of stuff, but one of them does run kind of long. So I do want to start off with newcomers Sinister Design because they've released their first board game, and I gotta say, it looks pretty interesting. I've got the dope on True Messiah. It is the near future Earth. Years ago, scientists successfully constructed the Belief Engine, a machine that warps reality based on people's strongly held beliefs. The machine was turned on for testing, but proved too sensitive. Widespread belief in the depravity of man and fears of social collapse suddenly took on the full force of objective fact, and science skepticism rendered the engine's creators helpless to intervene. That's kind of a bizarre setup, right? Without resort to a shared external reality, civilization crumbled like a sand castle in the tide. From the ruins have now arisen cults led by charismatic Masonic figures possessed of seemingly divine powers, such as myself, derived from the self-functioning engine. You are one such figure, the true one, the Messiah. It is God's will that you build temples and martial followers, then mold their beliefs to perform miracles and destroy your rivals. They'll be doing the same. But don't worry, God is on your side. Maybe, maybe not. Build temples, recruit followers, and command an array of reality-warping miracles to lay waste to your opponents. A player wins by slaying an enemy messiah, by reducing an enemy to less than 4 followers, by capturing an enemy's holy city, or by reducing an enemy to less than 8 miracle cards. True Messiah is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays in around 1 to 2 hours, and does carry an MSRP of $50. Gotta say, the artwork looks pretty cool. The premise of the game is a little bizarre. I don't know if, some religious types out there might be upset by the premise. I mean, it's just basically some scientific experiment. Some machine goes wrong, right? But does seem pretty cool. And this is actually the first board game released from Sinister Design, but they have done a PC game, or maybe it's on Mac and Linux, I'm not sure, but they did a PC game and they did an RPG too. So this is their first board game. I do want to point out, $50 seems like a fairly decent price tag for what I'm seeing that you get. All right, so as I mentioned, pretty heavy on RPG news today, and the newest source book for the Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game from Fantasy Flight Games has arrived. It's in stores. Now I've got the dope on Emerald Empire. Learn of the intricacies of Rokugan with the Emerald Empire sourcebook for the Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game. Sort of just said that. The Emerald Empire is vast and as varied as the 7 great clans that control its lands in the name of the Hantai Emperor. Its society is modeled after the heavens themselves. It is a culture steeped in history and tradition, in a land where decorum and propriety carry the weight of life and death. It's a land where spirits shape the very earth and control the flow of rivers and streams. Emerald Empire explores the places and people of Rokugan, from small villages of fisher folk to the mighty Diamo. I always get that mixed up. I swear. I always thought it was pronounced daimyo or daimyo. I think it's daimyo. But then again, I think I've had people tell me in the past that I'm not pronouncing it correctly. So let's say mighty daimyo in their castles, to deep primordial forests and the spirits that dwell within. This book examines every aspect of life in the Emerald Empire, from food to dress to religion and spirituality, and matters of etiquette, great and small. All creatures great and small. Excellent book. Always loved that book. Anyway, moving right along. Emerald Empire provides players, GMs, and fans of the setting with a guide to Rokugan that is a true companion to the core rulebook. The highlighted locations serve as a springboard for GMs wishing to base their campaigns around classic setting locales, and the write-ups provide insight to players whose characters might have visited or even hailed from these places. The Gazetteer sections showcase the diversity within Rokugan and how the influence of the clans and the surrounding geography can mold similar places into very different shapes. Where in the Empire will your duty take you? This hardcover sourcebook, of which I do not have a page count, very unusual. I'm used to seeing page counts, but it's not out in PDF yet. That's why. It is out in hardcover, and it does carry an MSRP of $49.95. I have got to look at L5R. I have to take a look at the Fantasy Flight Games edition of L5R, because when it was with AEG, I thought it was just smashing. Right, okay, so I had a few small issues with some of the mechanics of the game, but the source material, I guess we could say like fluff, but a lot of like the background of that was really, really cool, and the artwork was just amazing. Really, really dug it. I have heard the card game, now that it's a living card game, now I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, I hear it doesn't pack the same oomph as it did when it was a collectible card game, or I guess I should say trading card game, when it was with AEG. but I have heard some good things about the Legend of the Five Rings as far as the role-playing game. Maybe I'll bite the bullet and pick up the PDF and check it out. So I will have to find out. Anyway, our next piece of role-playing game news. Actually, I'm going to take a quick sip here real quick. Very dry again down here in the Duct Tape Studios. And it was funny because as I sat down and started the stream, saw like some dust kind of waving on by. And I'm like, you may have even seen my eyes kind of going like following it along as I was talking. Ah, there we go. That's better. So I do want to point out, Modiphius Entertainment has released the eagerly anticipated Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars, Adventures on the Dying World of Barsoom RPG core book. Say that like 5 times fast, right? It is out in PDF. It's not out in hardcover yet. It's out in PDF, and I've got the dope. My attention was quickly riveted by a large red star close to the distant horizon. As I gazed upon it, I felt a spell of overpowering fascination. It was Mars, the god of war, and for me, the fighting man, and it always held the power of irresistible enchantment. As I gazed at it on that far-gone night, it seemed to call across the unthinkable void to lure me to it. Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars, Adventures on the Dying World of Barsoom transports you to the red planet of Barsoom, an arid dying land of ancient civilizations and fearsome creatures. Begin your adventures of romance and heroism using a pulp action-inspired variant of the 2D20 system. Take on the role of heroes as you travel, battle, and romance your way across the wondrous and dangerous world of Barsoom. Play as John Carter, Princess Deja Thoris, the fearsome Thark warrior Tars Tarkus, or create your own heroes from an exciting variety of options. An overview of Barsoom and its peoples, perfect to introduce new players to the wondrous world of John Carter of Mars. There's detailed chapters on Barsoomian technology, creatures, and cultures. A new talent-focused narrative variation of the 2D20 system, including a step-by-step character generation system designed to create heroes from a variety of backgrounds and concepts. You can create a wide variety of characters such as a dashing red Martian duelist, a brilliant firstborn scientist, a savage beastmaster, a courageous airship officer, even Earthborn characters, so players can follow in the bounding footsteps of John Carter himself. A detailed narrator section is filled with information on how to run genre and setting appropriate campaigns, including information about the great and terrible secrets of Barsoom. There are 3 eras of play based on the adventures of John Carter himself. Adventure during the Dotar Sojet era, or adventure during the time where Carter became a Prince of Helium, and in the years after when he was believed dead, or fight along Carter and his allies during the later Jedek of Jedek's era, or Jedek of Jedek's. An introductory adventure, the Mind Merchants of Mars, is included as well to get players and narrators started on their adventures and immersed in the world of Barsoom. The 288-page PDF is available as of today. Yes, that's right, it came out today. And can be had for $19.99 through my friends at Drive-Thru RPG. So, gotta say, this is a role-playing game that I know a lot of people have been keeping their eyes open for. In fact, I am planning on putting together a show where I'm going to talk about the 5 most highly anticipated role-playing games coming in 2019. I thought John Carter was going to end up sliding into 2019. I was not aware that it was coming out until I got the email from Chris Birch over at Modiphius Entertainment this morning, and I was like, whoa, sweet, it is out. So this is something I've really been looking forward to checking out. I think Modiphius has done a fantastic job with their Conan line of role-playing. Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. So they have done extremely great work with that. I can assume John Carter's going to be about the same. I do not believe that there are going to be as many source books and adventure books for John Carter as there have been for Conan so far. And there's actually a new Conan book release. I'm going to talk about that on tomorrow's news because I thought this was a bigger news piece, and I didn't want to do a couple of news pieces from Modiphius. So, gotta point out though, I have a hard time, little bit of a hard time getting through some of the John Carter books because Edgar Rice Burroughs, pretty racist guy. It's a little tough. It's not just, I mean, it's okay. So it's not to the extent of some of the old H.P. Lovecraft stories where you're kind of like, oh gosh, read this one once and then I'm not going to read this one again. But there's a bit, especially in the earlier books with John Carter. But you know, what can you say? I mean, I know a lot of people get upset, like with H.P. Lovecraft, things like that. And it's sort of like, well, but you have to look at the time that these people lived in, you know? Plus, at least Lovecraft kind of changed his tune as he got older. Fortunately, it was as he got closer to dying. Anyway, but yeah, this looks pretty cool. And I do want to point out, with any of the role-playing game products that I mentioned that are available through DriveThruRPG, the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope are affiliates of One Bookshelf, which of course are the drive-thru websites. So if you are going to pop over to any of the drive-thru sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banners, and then if you happen to make a purchase, that way I get a little tiny bit of that sale, little itty bitty part of that sale. But I keep saying it, it all really adds up and it really does help out. In fact, most months it takes care of our rather pricey hosting for the Gaming Gang website. So thank you hey, and I gotta say, thank you to all the people out there who do actually click on our banners before they go to like any of the drive-thru sites, like Wargame Vault or DriveThruRPG, DriveThru Fiction, DriveThru Cards. You get it, right? DriveThru Comics. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that for us. All right, so my final news piece is about the various different Paizo releases that we're going to be seeing next month. For a change, what I did is I'm only kind of talking about the big Adventure Path releases and like player companion releases. Granted, there are some reprints coming out and pocket editions. There are the flip mats, I should say. There's a token box. But if that were the case, if I shared all of that, then I would be sitting here talking for about 15 minutes about Paizo stuff tonight. So I don't know if I want to really do that. They never give me anything to review. All right, I take that back. They did give me, Eric Moda did give me the Occult book. Isn't it the Occult book? It's right behind me. It is right behind me. It is the... Heck is it? Oh yeah, Occult Adventures. That's it, Occult Adventures. So I'm sort of picking on Paizo. They're fine. They're okay. I think once this new edition of Pathfinder comes out, I think I'm going to actually really do a lot more stuff for Paizo. I haven't really pushed it simply because I knew there was a new edition coming out, and yeah, whatever. Anywho, let's get on to the talk about some of the cool stuff, because there is also, well, you know what? Let me grab another sip. Gotta love live shows, right? It's just a live stream. You know, hey, what can I tell you, right? It's just a live stream. Just rambling on, folks. Just do my thing. Anyway, so we've got the Starfinder Adventure Path number 12, Heart of Night. It is the finale of the Signal of Screams Adventure Path. Here's some dope. Shadow of a Doubt. Trapped on the Shadow Plane. Hey, now I gave it away. It's a spoiler right there. The heroes find their only hope of returning home is to find and defeat Dr. Listana Gragant, twisted scientist who's attempting to broadcast a maddening signal throughout the galaxy. If the PCs can make their way past shadowy foes and terrifying obstacles, they might be able to watch the stain of corruption from their souls. Use some Tide Pods to do that. This volume of Starfinder Adventure Path concludes the Signal of Screams Adventure Path and includes Heart of Night, a Starfinder adventure for 11th level characters by, I'm going to get this wrong, Saif and Sorry. Advice on how you can continue your campaign past the final encounter, and details on the horrors to come should the heroes fail by Tracy Barnett. An exploration of the creepy shadow plane, as well as numerous player options for those connected to that plane by Thurston Hillman. An archive of alien frights, including a memory-stealing fae and a faceless beast, once again by Saif Ansari, Stephen Glicker, and James L. Sutter. Yeah, I think that's Sutter, not Sear. Statistics and deck plans for a Velstrak starship by Saif Ansari again. Thanks, Saif. Plus, The Collapse of a World of Waking Dreams by Owen Casey Stevens. Heart of Night will carry an MSRP of $22.99. I do believe it's probably, I think it's 64 pages. Aren't the adventure paths usually like 64 pages? I think they are. Then, of course, we also have another conclusion. This time is the Return of the Rune Lords Pathfinder Adventure Path. And this one's number 138, Rise of New Thassalon. Sins of the Past. Pharesia has been destroyed. Rune Lord Aliznists. You know, sometimes I gotta sit there and think to myself, you know, some of you designers, some of you writers out there for some of these fantasy games, you need to take a minute and remember that the game master has to pronounce this stuff. Anyway, Rune Lord Aliznists alteration of the past has thrown the frontier nation into chaos, devastated cities, resurrected demon lords, and worse. The Rune Lord of Wrath is now primed to seize control of a ruined realm so that she can remake it into a new Thassalon with herself as its furious queen. Only one desperate plan can set things right. A band of heroes must discover a method to travel back in time and repair the damage their enemy has wrought on history. But can they make the sacrifices necessary for victory? This adventure allows the heroes to reach the absolute height of power, but even the potent options gained at 20th level may not be enough for the party to survive the furious might of Rune Lord Aliznist in her seat of power. This volume of Pathfinder Adventure Path, it just always sounds weird coming off your mind, off the tongue, doesn't it? Pathfinder Adventure Path. Too many paths. Concludes the Return of the Rune Lords Adventure Path and includes Rise of New Thassalon, Pathfinder RPG adventure for 17th level characters by Greg A. Vaughn. A brief exploration of how the Return of the Rune Lords Adventure Path will change Golarion in the future, including the first ever map of the Empire of Thassalon as it stood before the devastation of Earthfall. That's by James Jacobs. There's a bestiary of monsters, including undead salamander forge masters, living landslides, the mysterious hallowed lynxes used by rune lords as pets and guardians, a planar dragon from the tumultuous Maelstrom, and the immense great old one Mohar itself by John Compton, Andrew D. Gels, Liz Liddell, Luis Loza, and David Schwartz. Rise of New Thassalon will carry an MSRP of $24.99. Then there's the Pathfinder Player Companion Wilderness Origins. Go back to your roots. Harness the unstoppable force and life-giving power of the natural world. Pathfinder Player Companion Wilderness Origins provides new options for those who peacefully coexist with their environments. Learn the magical secrets of the wilderness, tame fierce allies, and channel the awesome destructive power of nature and the elements, from the deadly rush of a flash flood to the inferno of a forest fire. Inside this book, you'll find options for the Shifter class, including new animal aspects, feats to augment these shifters' animal forms, and archetypes that channel the fury of dragons, the power of Fae. Racial traits, feats, and archetypes for the Vine Leshy, Gathlane, and Goran that allow them to further leverage their inherent connection to the verdant power of nature. New player options for characters who draw their inspiration from nature, from witches who draw on the magic of wildflowers, to summoners and spiritualists who bargain with Kami. This Pathfinder player companion is intended for use with the Pathfinder role-playing game, obviously enough, and the Pathfinder campaign setting, but it can easily be incorporated into any fantasy world. Wilderness Origins will carry an MSRP of $14.99. I do believe the player companions are 32 pages. So that is what's coming from Paizo. As I mentioned, there are some flip maps. There's another pawn box coming. There are a couple of previously published books that are coming out in like Pocket Digest size, which is pretty sweet. Pocket Digest is pretty nice. But like I said, I mean, just see how long that Paizo news piece just went. If I had included that, I'd still be going. I'd be like halfway through it. All right, so that is it for the news today. So I'm going to start jumping in, taking a look at some of these, the two children's books, as well as the card game, Dungeon Mayhem, in just a couple of minutes. Did want to let you know what's cooking on the Daily Dope this week. So tomorrow, like I said, it's a little up in the air. I'm trying to do an interview with Stephen Bonacorn, my pal from Stronghold Games. And I probably won't know what's going on with that until the late morning. So I don't know. If for some reason he's still under the weather, I will come up with something. I will definitely come up with something for tomorrow's show. On Wednesday, it's Wargame Wednesday, and I am actually going to take a look at Germania Magna, which is from Phalanx Games. It is released in the US through Ares Games. This one I actually have had for a while, and it got buried under some stuff. Completely forgot I've got it. This actually looks pretty cool because each of the players, it's for up to 4 players. Each of the players are going to be leading a Germanic tribe against the Romans. So it's not necessarily cooperative, but it's not necessarily like everybody's like fighting among themselves. So we're going to take a look at this. I have heard good things about this. So that is going to be on the Wednesday show. On Thursday, I am going to dig into Coriolis from Free League Publishing and Modiphius Entertainment. Nice thick book. It's what, 380 pages? Is that what we found out the other day? Yep, it's like 385 pages, 386 pages. So we are going to take a look at this. This is kind of a almost like Arabian Nights in space, kind of space opera-ish role-playing game. And it does utilize, as far as I know, it utilizes the same D6-based system as Mutant Year Zero and Tales from the Loop and so on. So that'll be on Thursday's show. On Friday's show, I am actually going to share some really cool last-minute gift ideas for gamers. I'm going to talk about some games that you might want to, use as stocking stuffers or wrap them up, put them under the ye old Christmas tree or holiday tree, or what is it, like Festivus pole? However you want to do it, right? So that'll be on Friday's show, and then Christmas Eve on next Monday's show. I am actually, I'll probably do an earlier show, but I am going to share my favorite games of 2018, including my reveal of my favorite game for 2018. I don't like utilizing the term like best games and stuff like that, and I am going to have a few different categories that I'm going to share various different games, and I'm going to talk about, okay, so who was in the running and who won and why. But there are going to be a variety of my favorite games for various different genres of games. So keep that in mind. Probably be a longer show. I probably won't do a news section on that because I don't want like a 2-hour show. Come on. All right, so without further ado, let's kind of start taking a look at. We're gonna take a look at the ABCs of D&D and the 1, 2, 3s of D&D. These are both from Hunters Entertainment and Wizards of the Coast. They're both written by Ivan Van Norman, who I go way back with, actually. It was funny. I ran into Ivan at Gen Con, and he remembered me, too. And we were chatting a little bit, and then, of course, I did the interview with he and... isn't it Christopher DeSantos? Is that the... I know it's Christopher, who is also part of Hunters Entertainment. And yeah, it was pretty funny running across him because, you know, Ivan's doing all the stuff for, like, isn't it Geek and Sundry? Yeah, it's Geek and Sundry. And on top of all the other, you know, gaming stuff he does. So anyway, both of these are written by Ivan Van Norman, and artwork is provided by Caleb Cleveland. These books are aimed at children ages 3 to 7, and each carries an MSRP of $14.99. So we're gonna swing on over to the other camera here. So first thing I want to point out is, which one is it? Is it the 1, 2, 3s or ABCs? It's the ABCs of D&D. We're gonna take a look. First thing I'm gonna have to do though. Let me grab some reading specs here. I had to laugh. I really had to laugh. Okay, let me move that out of the way so it's not in the shot. So I cracked this open the other day. Now I have not looked at the 1, 2, 3s. I just cracked it open to share the artwork. I think it was a Saturday show, the special Saturday show I did, wait for it. Here we go. It's upside down. It's upside down. Yeah. Okay. Well, pretty funny. Yep. So of course, you know, I'm showing this off now because I'd already been saying, "Hey, I'm gonna show this off." So of course now I'm sure there are folks out there going, "Hey, you know, I'd like to pick that up for like my child, right? It looks pretty cool." And they're like, "Yeah, but I don't want it to be upside down." So this was just a mistake. Hey, you know, it's possible that that this was sent to me as like a review copy because of the accidental printing of this book being upside down, because that happens sometimes. Because yeah, sometimes companies will send out review copies of stuff. They're usually books, like usually RPG books, stuff like that. They'll send out with a little ding or a little kind of you know, little maybe imperfection, stuff like that, because you know they can't sell it, but they figure, hey, you know, you use it as a review copy. All right, so it says, welcome guardians and tiny adventurers everywhere. Fire up your imagination and let's read. I love reading. Explore the world of role-playing games with the magical power of a children's book. Through illustration and rhyme, the ABCs of D&D demonstrates the joy and wonder found in games that encourage problem-solving and exercising a child's creativity. The ABCs of D&D presents a way to face life's quests through the power of friendship and imagination. All right, and then we got some shills on the back now. There's some reviews on the back. Okay, so let's flip this upside down and jump on in. Let's see, as I mentioned, it's written by Ivan Van Norman. Let's get this centered up a little bit. With artwork, with illustrations from Caleb Cleveland. So we got A is for adventure. Our journey has begun. I like the artwork. I think the artwork's. B is for book, the source of all our fun. Hey, wait a second. You're not giving any credit to the game master, the DM? Huh. Yeah, just the book? Yeah, okay. All right, Ivan. No, tease. C is for creatures of every shape and size. There we go. D is for Dungeon Master, who helps our imaginations rise. E is for enchantment, magic that helps us do our best. F is for friendship, the best reward for quests. G is for goblins, a noisy, mischievous crew. H is for heroes, especially ones like you. I is for imagination. What's your favorite tale? J is for journey. Time to wander down the trail. K is for kingdom. Let's explore, discover, and roam. L is for lost, so it's time to head for home. M is for mystery, which can begin with a stone. Ah, come on, that was kind of lame. That was a little bit lame on that rhyme. It was going pretty good up until then. N is for nature, and its wonders still unknown. See, that was way better. That was much better. O is for owlbear. I love it. Which you won't find in a zoo. P is for planning, so what do you want to do? Q is for quest, an adventure we can share. R is for Ravenloft, where spooky stories scare. Oh, so, okay, so R gets a setting, but we didn't get, like, for G, we didn't get, like, gosh, now it's, like, not even popping in my head. Grey Castle? No. Greyhawk. Castle Greyhawk. S is for ship. Let's all go for a ride. T is for treasure. The sweet stuff monsters hide. U is for Underdark, where legends lie untold. V is for villains, either cowardly or bold. W is for wisdom, a trait most essential. X is for XP, how we unlock our potential. Y is for yes, which all DMs should say. I don't know about that. Z is for zeal, the spirit to save the day. There you go. Oh, that's kind of funny. Our authors, like kids drawing. That's kind of cool. All right, so that was kind of fun. Upside down and all. So I dig the artwork. I like the artwork. Especially, you know, remember, this is for kids 3 to 7 years old, all right? So let's not get crazy here and be like, oh, I want it to look like, Magic the Gathering artwork. So let's take a look at the 1, 2, 3s of D&D that actually is right side up. It says numbers for players at every level. Welcome, Guardians and tiny adventurers everywhere. Fire up your imagination and let's count. From 1 Dungeon Master to 9 dragons inspire new generation of role-playing fans. Explore and enjoy an adventure through the world of Dungeons and Dragons in this delightful counting book for players of all levels. The 1, 2, 3s of D&D is a great way to start children along a path of storytelling and imagination. Once again, it is written by Ivan Van Norman and illustrated by Caleb Cleveland. So let's take a look at this one. Probably about the same page count as my guess. We begin with 1 dungeon master telling a story of daring deeds. The adventure of 2 heroes and their brave and noble steeds. They battle against 3 goblins, snarling and mean. Goblins look a little different than in the other book. To find and save 4 travelers in a very exciting scene. The heroes visit 5 towers, a city on the boom. They hear the words of 6 scholars with a prophecy of doom. Gather the 7 sigils, Jeff. It's sigils, Jeff. Slap. Or this land will turn to ash. Beware of 8 liches who guard them from the brash. With the help of 9 dragons, the heroes will save the day. But when the clock strikes 10, it's time to hit the hay. Okay, so I like that. That's kind of funny. All right, wait. Come on, get rid of that clear there. Oh, and then we get a little bestiary here. And if you like brass dragons, you like food crispy fried. So we get, it's kind of a little bit of a bonus here. Telling us about each of some of these, some of the characters and some of the creatures that are in the illustrations up to that point. It's talking about, okay, so we've got ghosts, goblins. There we go, that hobgoblin. What a lich is. Nice, pretty cool. Alrighty. So that is the 1, 2, 3s of D&D, as well as the ABCs of D&D. As I pointed out before, both these books are written by Ivan Van Norman with illustrations by Caleb Cleveland. They are for ages 3 to 7. So, of course, you know, smallest kids. But you know what? I like the art. The artwork's nice. Well, this is the upside down one. I certainly could see maybe even, you know, eight-year-old kids kind of digging the books more for the artwork, not necessarily for the rhymes and the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, but very, very nice. So these each carry an MSRP of $14.99. So these would make actually a really nice kind of little stocking stuffers for kids out there too. So sweet. All right, so got those. All right, moving right along. We're going to take a look next at Dungeon Mayhem. Now, this is from Wizards of the Coast. It's designed by Jordan Komar and Roscoe Wettlaufer. I'm going to guess on these names. With artwork provided by Kyle Farron. Games for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up. Plays in around 10 to 20 minutes, as far as I understand. It does carry an MSRP of $15. Got to point out, I have heard, I shouldn't say heard, I have run across Dungeon Mayhem online for as low as like $10. So that's pretty big savings there. So just mentioning it, don't get all upset because I talked about an online possibility of buying something online. I didn't point anybody in a specific direction. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to pop over to the other camera again. And this is as close in as I can possibly get with this new camera. So, well, I shouldn't say new camera. It's just I switched the cameras around for the 2 cameras that I've got. So I have a 3rd camera. It's just, well, okay. So this right here, hi. That's just, it's basically a cam, but it's a pretty nice 1080p cam. Webcam. And then, of course, this camera, this is a regular, you know, video camera. I have another video camera. It's just, I would need to go get, because you can't just hook up a video camera to your computer and boom, start streaming. You actually have to have a capture device, which they're not cheap. They're like $150 and more. So that's why that's why I only have the one video camera, because I only have one capture device at this point. All right, so we got Dungeon Mayhem here. It's an action-packed card game for 2 to 4 adventurers. Split the party and unleash the mayhem. Do you have the guts to bring home the glory? Play as one of 4 brave, quirky characters: barbarian, paladin, rogue, or wizard, battling it out in a dungeon full of treasure, with magic missiles flinging, dual daggers slinging, and spike shields dinging. It's up to you to be the last adventurer standing. Contains 4 28-card decks, some hit point trackers, hit point tokens, reference cards, and some damage tokens as well. So we have some pretty basic rules. I can see it's just a little fold out. So we've got right here how to play. First time you play, so let's choose one of the 4 character decks. Take your hit point tracker, hit point token, reference card that matches your deck. Set them on the table. You got 10 hit points. I guess everybody's got the same hit points regardless of what class they happen to be. That's like, let's battle. Everyone draws 3 cards, and the youngest player goes first. Okay, then let's talk about hit points, winning the game. It's as if you don't. I guess you can play all your cards in your hand. Talking about the different card types. So we've got attack cards. We've got defense cards. So we've got like defense symbols, these shield symbols. It's like they might absorb damage, something like that. Got symbols showing us to draw cards. We got a healing card, and we got a play again. Play again cards let you play more cards on your turn. When you play a play again card, you can play one extra card for each lightning bolt symbol on the card. Remember, the extra cards you play for each lightning bolt symbol can also be play again cards. All right, so that's a combo. And we got a little FAQ down here. So, play a card from your hand. You have to play at least one. So it's saying that you have to play at least one card on your turn. It says sometimes you can play more than one card. So that may be what those the lightning bolt symbols are. All right, so we got a little punch board here. So these are the 4 different characters, 4 separate characters here. These are little damage markers, no doubt. Got that. And we got a little tuck box here with the different decks. Oh, you know what? I bet you these are the hit point markers here. Because I was like, I thought it said there's like some hit point markers. I'm like, where are those? I bet you these are them. Bet you there's a card in here for each of the players. Each of the characters have a card. It's going to show their hit points, and you're going to put that on there. That is my guess. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Yep. All right, so we've got, it's like that's the paladin, right? Or is this the paladin? I just saw we got cure wounds, so I would think that would be the paladin. All right, come on. Come on, you. There we go. All right, so this is the war. No, this is. I think this is the rogue, and then this is like the fighter, the skull crusher. Okay, so look here. Okay, so there's a reference card. So each of the players are going to get reference card here. So yep, the shield blocks 1 damage for each shield symbol. Anytime there's a plus on a card, it's draw a card. Anytime we see these crossed swords, it's deal 1 damage. Then we've got the little lightning bolt, play an extra card, and a little heart with the plus symbol is recover 1 hit point. And then we got mighty powers. So we've got some mighty powers for the character here. Now I wonder if, I'll have to take a look. I wonder if the mighty powers, I'm assuming the mighty powers are going to be different. So what do we got here? So it says 2 axes are better than 1. This is basically just 2 lightning bolts. Snack time, so it's draw 2 cards, gain a hit point back. Flex, gaining a hit point back, drawing a card. Those. Open the armory. You're drawing a couple of cards here. Headbutt, so it's like 1 damage and playing another card. Brutal punch. It's going to do 2 damage, so there's a couple of those. Big axe is best axe. Okay. So there's 3, 4, 5 of those. Rage, which does 4 damage. There's 2 of those. Wrath. Okay, so it looks like we've got some sort of a wolf, dog, something like that, kind of assisting the fighter here, so that can absorb some damage. The little flower, spiked shield, bag of rats. Okay, yeah, everybody carries a bag of rats with them to soak up some damage. Mighty toss, a couple of those. Battle roar. Those whirling axes. So this is the mighty power. A couple of those mighty powers there. So that is this character. So where is this character's tracking card? Isn't there supposed to be a tracking card for your hit points? Let's take a look. It says, oh no. Well, it says 4 hit point trackers. So maybe they're not necessarily just broken up by each character. Maybe they're just hit point tracker cards, so that there isn't actually a character. Wait a second. So why do we have this backing on a couple of these cards, and then all of these have just the color yellow? What's going on with that? Let's take a look here. Yeah, because it's his character. Evil Sneer, knowledge is power. Okay, so this is he's the wizard. Lightning bolts, burning hands, magic missile, speed of thought, vampiric touch. Ooh. A couple of those. Charm. I like I'd show it the dog. Or the wolf or whatever from the fighter character. Fireball. Oh look, each player, including you, takes 3 damage. Okay, so here's the yeah, see? Okay, so there's the tracking card here for this character. And here's his reference card. So we got those for that one. Okay, and then over here, I think he's the rogue, right? So here we go. So we've got this tracking card here. Cunning action. Even more daggers. Stolen potion. My little friend. Jeez. All right. A rope-a-dope, buddy, huh? The Goon Squad. Winged Serpents. All the thrown daggers. Jeez. 2 thrown daggers. 1 thrown dagger. Okay, a little too much of the dagger thrown here, folks. Sneak attack. Pickpocket. Clever disguise. That's the mighty power. Clever disguise. All right, so there's the reference card, and there's the tracking card, and there is the tracking card for her. So there we go. So we've got those. That's cool. And then the final character is this has got to be the paladin. Cure wounds, divine smite. Yep, it's a paladin. Fighting words for the most justice. For even more justice. For justice. Okay. All right. I gotta be honest. I mean, not even reviewing the game yet. Could have had a little more variety. So, all the thrown daggers, 2 thrown daggers, 1 thrown dagger. Just like this for justice, for even more justice. Could have made it a little more varied here. Fluffy the horse. There we go. Spinning parry. Finger wag of judgment. A lot of judging going on here. Judgment, a lot of justice. High charisma. Vanishing smites. Fine inspiration. That must be the mighty power here. 2 of those. We got the reference card and then the little tracker card. Cool. So we've got the 4 decks and the little tuck box here. Back in. We've got the hit point trackers as well as the little damage tokens. We've got the little play sheets. Hold that up. And that is what we find when we take everything from D&D Dungeon Mayhem outside the box. It is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, plays in around 10 to 20 minutes, and does carry an MSRP of $15. And as I pointed out, you can find it online for about $10, $10.50. So pretty sweet. I will have a review of Dungeon Mayhem in the very near future. Probably no longer than a week or so, because Friday night I am actually going over to my brother and my sister-in-law's house, and there's a party going on, and always end up playing some games with Cameron, my nephew, and his friends from high school. So I'm sure we'll bust this out and give this a run for its money. Okay, so that is it for today's show. As I mentioned, on tomorrow's show, I am probably going to have an interview with my friend Stephen Bonacore from Stronghold Games. If not, I'll come up with something. I know it. I know I'll come up with something. I might even do maybe do a PDF first look, because I've got some PDF stuff. I don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully I get a chance to do an interview with Stephen, because he's always fun to chat with. Anyway, so when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, please visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Well, by now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.